All right, let's switch gears and get to a team that is not in asset acquisition mode, a team that is all in, as they like to say. We bring in part of our Cavaliers reporting team, Joe Vardon. Joe, how are you?
Hey, Dan. I'm doing fine.
All right, Joe. One asset that the Cavaliers, at least LeBron James, is trying to get rid of are those sleeves. It's always something with LeBron James, and he ripped off those sleeves last night. They've caused him problems in the past, at least mentally. As that was all going down, what was going through your head?
Well, I mean, what was going through my head is, oh boy, because like you said, he so publicly ripped these jerseys in 2014, and it is up to the team, not the league, whether or not they wear them. So it was just at the time it was beyond me that he would, or that the Cavs would knowingly put him in a jersey like that for a couple reasons. One, he doesn't like them and he doesn't shoot well in them. And two, he is such a lightning rod for attention that you're almost asking for something to happen like last night. I mean, if they had lost that game, you're looking at you're looking at some really interesting debate. Now, LeBron came back and totally diffused all of that by saying to everybody that it was mental and that the jerseys are fine and it's on him and he likes them. And he told me afterwards that he, not only did he sign off on them, he practiced it. As it turned out, it's just kind of one of the quirks of LeBron, but boy, at the time, I told him last night that he broke the internet, and that was certainly, a timeline filler.
Joe, is the Kevin Love, LeBron James honeymoon over after 5 games?
Yeah, our mutual friend Chris Haynes and I were talking about this morning, and it reminded me of how I felt when I was watching the 2001 World Series and Piazza hits that foul ball, and the head of the bat comes at Clemens, and he picks it up and just throws it at Piazza. And the first thought running through my head is Roger just had an out-of-body experience. He couldn't have realized what he just did there. And I kind of felt that way about LeBron. I mean, he saw Kevin at his feet, like he probably felt. I think he felt him. And he looked down right at him and then kept walking. I don't know what to say about that other than, I think it's worth mentioning that it happened and that it was weird. And then, you just consider all the nice things that LeBron has said about Kevin all season.
Staying on the Kevin Love thing, Joe, obviously he's played very well in Kyrie Irving's absence. Eventually, though, Kyrie Irving is going to be back on this basketball team. He's going to be the number 2 guy in this offense. What does that do to Kevin Love?
Well, let's see about that. Let's see whose numbers are what. I think you're probably right, Dan. But there's a way to even this out a little bit more and continue to get Kevin involved. One thing that was interesting, though. When I was putting together the little piece on LeBron stepping over the focal point, is that while LeBron is looking for Kevin a lot, actually over the last couple of games it started to go down. He's looking for Kevin less than he did over the past couple of games, and it's interesting. It's probably just a coincidence, but Kevin's numbers aren't quite as good as they have been over the past couple of games. So, Kevin may be the focal point, but I really think that's more of just a psychological play on LeBron's part. If you look at who's taking the most shots, who's scoring the most points, it's still LeBron. The more I think about it, I tend to agree with you, Dan, that Kyrie will probably slide in there. But there is a way that they can continue to move the ball and stay out of the ISO stuff to keep Kevin kind of like 2A, maybe.
Joe, how do you explain LeBron James' shooting struggles that we've seen here at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I think it's a little more than he's just not in a rhythm. unless he found his rhythm over the summer and we didn't see it, because he didn't shoot well from the outside in the postseason. Now, he was fantastic in the postseason, putting up numbers. He was awesome. And so I feel like he's playing really well right now, like really well. And he's going to the hole a lot more in the early going now than he did last year, which is great. We all know that. But he's not shooting it. He's not shooting it well at all, and it's something that's kind of gone on over time. Now, I can't tell you about a hitch in his stroke or anything like that. I don't know. And as Kyrie reminded you, Chris, we watch the games they play, so
That's right.
I don't know. But it's there, and it's longer than just these 5 games. I'm going to spend some time this afternoon re-looking at the numbers from last postseason. So I don't have them off the top of my head, but I know they're not good.
Joe, obviously, look, the Cavaliers, these players are human, and they might not say it, but when they play teams like Philadelphia, when they play teams like the Knicks, there might just be a little bit of complacency there, especially early in games, as we've seen. How do they fight that as the season goes along?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Warriors, and everyone's doing backflips over their start, but they've played the Rockets, they've played the Pelicans, who aren't doing well, but they have Anthony Davis and had high hopes, and they beat the Clippers last night. And so those are really big games right out of the gate. And the Cavs had a couple to start, but when you get into this mode of playing teams in the East, I think LeBron said it best. They were surprised that the Knicks run sets now, and that kind of caught him off guard. And so, Philadelphia comes in here tomorrow night, and I expect the Cavs to be much sharper against them. And then next week on Friday night, the Cavs will be at the Garden, and I expect a similar heightened focus. Because you're right. I mean, both of those teams built a reputation as just games you can cross off without putting much effort into it, and they both, went at them pretty good.
All right, Joe Vardon. Thanks for the time, Joe.